What's up guys? How we doing? I know it's been quite a while since I made a video. I took a little bit of a break from watching that many movies, but now I'm getting back into it, and I wanted to check out one that came out last year that a lot of people have really been enjoying, which I never got to see. That is, of course, the mystery film Knives Out. So this film is written and directed by Rian Johnson, who also did Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi. Whether that intrigues you or turns you off, I guess depends on how much you like that movie. But before that film, Johnson was known for directing several other original films like this one, except this is the first time he's done a whodunit. Now, in case you're unfamiliar with the film, it centers around the patriarch of a very eccentric family who recently passed away, and there is some suspicion that it may have been foul play. Many of his family members are questioned about their involvement on a particular night, as well as his nurse, who was with him that same night. Now, if you've seen the trailer for this film, you know it has quite the ensemble cast. I mean, you've got Daniel Craig, Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, Jamie Lee Curtis, Michael Shannon, Don Johnson, Toni Collette, Lakeith Stanfield, Catherine Langford, Jaden Martell, as well as Christopher Plummer. Yeah, they really did a great job on the casting. I will say that right off the bat. But I would say the best thing about this film is definitely the screenplay. It's very funny, and it's written in a way that really surprised me and was actually a lot different than what I was expecting going in. From having seen the trailer at least like 5 times during its run, I thought this was going to be a little more on the action oriented. It just didn't quite develop in that way. There is some action involved, but it's definitely more of your light murder mystery sort of atmosphere that we're used to in other films like this. Confession, I'm not the biggest whodunit person overall. I haven't seen a lot of the classics or, you know, the staples of the genre, but something about this one tells me that it felt very different than what we're used to seeing, especially in the way that it's told. Something is revealed maybe about halfway or about maybe during the first act of the film that really kind of surprises you and makes you think, oh, okay, so we know this. Where are we going to go from here? And that's where the direction really shines in this film. It's a very sharp and overall very creative piece of work that Rian Johnson has put together. I can't necessarily compare it to his other films if you've seen them, such as Looper or Brick, which a lot of people are big fans of, but it definitely has me intrigued and wanting to go check out his previous films now. But this film would definitely not work if the acting wasn't as good as it is, especially from Ana de Armas and Daniel Craig. They really delivered some great performances. Ana plays Marta, who is the nurse of Christopher Plummer's character, and I thought she did just a great job in this film. You get to see a lot of it through her perspective since she's not part of the family. She's probably among the most prominent characters that we see on screen. But one of my favorite things about her character is this thing they added in which makes a lot of her interactions very interesting. I won't tell you exactly what it is, but it has to do with whether she's lying or not. She has a certain reaction that can create a lot of comedy throughout the film. And Daniel Craig plays the detective on the case named Benoit Blanc, who I will say is probably the most interesting character in the film. Not only by the way he thinks, but the fact that he has this very interesting drawl of an accent that will remind you of something, say, Foghorn Leghorn, perhaps.
That's a joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. You gotta keep on your toes.
And what I enjoyed about this film is it knows that it's kind of poking fun at itself at times, including that accent, which you will see at some point. And while these two characters are definitely the best, I think the entire cast is very strong. There are some characters I would have liked to see a little bit more of, say maybe Jaden Martell's character. He ends up being the butt of kind of a reoccurring joke, and I feel like they just could have explored his character just a tad more. Now, one thing you may not realize is there's actually a sequel now in the works for this film, which is having Daniel Craig reprise his role as Benoit Blanc. In this case, it's supposed to be a whole separate scenario outside of this family. And if I'm being honest, I think it could work. I would prefer if they kind of gave it its own original title instead of, say, like Knives Out 2, but they'll probably end up doing something like that. But either way, I definitely would love to see more of his detective work in other cases. So some other good things about this film, it's got a great look to it. The color palette is very nice, as well as the costumes and all the different characters are very interesting. The editing is very good as well, and I will say, even though it didn't quite meet my expectations because I had so much time to wait and see this film, I think I went in maybe with too high of expectations, but I did really enjoy it, and I think I'll like it even more if I get a chance to see it again with some friends or family. Overall, this film was a very fun ride, but I think it's probably best enjoyed with a group of friends or at least one other person so you can laugh together and kind of try to figure things out and see how it all turns out in the end. Knives Out cuts through the tropes of a whodunit to deliver an original and satisfying mystery that is sure to surprise and delight many. And that's why this film is a Dyligent pick. So guys, what did you think of Knives Out? Did you watch it in theaters, or have you just seen it recently like myself? What is your favorite whodunit mystery or film like this? Do you have a favorite film from Rian Johnson, or is there anything else you would recommend that is similar to this film? Because there is plenty I haven't seen out there in this genre, so I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. I'm looking to get into a little bit of a rhythm again and put out some more videos for you guys. I hope you're all doing very well and staying safe, and I can't wait to see you again. As always, my name is Dylan, and if you love entertainment, subscribe to my channel while this video ends and send me a thumbs up before you go. Thanks for watching, and stay diligent.